Good evening, folks. Dave Jorgensen once again, and I forgot to put my teeth in. I ought to stop this video and go do it, I guess. I was going to put them in before I started it, but I forgot to. So anyway, here we go without teeth tonight. The story I'd like to share with you tonight is an illustration, is about the trip up to Alaska. We talked about the Alaska trip a little bit yesterday. I think it was yesterday. But when we took our family back up there, we left. We were supposed to be back up there by the 1st of March. And I had an old trailer that originally was a 48 Pan American trailer house. And I had sold it to my father-in-law, and he tore it apart and made it only had two. It was a single axle trailer, but it was a heavy duty thing. And he made he put 4-foot sides on the side of it, with plywood and 2x4s all screwed together, and pretty solid old trailer. And then he had used it to camp in when he was logging. And he had it raised up with screen all the way around it. But then when he got done, he put that roof back down on the solid 4-foot sides. So it was about 4 feet tall and with a roof over it. Well, that's what I got that back from him. And that's what we loaded up to go to Alaska. And I had an old 66 Chevy 1-ton. Actually, yeah, it was a 1-ton with the motorhome chassis on it. It had the frame extended 30 inches for the motorhome. And anyway, so I had that. And it had a tired motor in it. It ran good, but it was tired. And I should have worked on it before I went, but I didn't have the time nor the money. And then working outside in the wintertime isn't much fun, even in Northern California. But, so we loaded this thing up. I mean, we had my wife's big old piano in there. We were packed. And my brother, he was pulling a little trailer behind his station wagon that had been my dad's. And we headed for Alaska. He had this sign painted on the back, Alaska or bust. Oh, we busted mostly. But anyway, that trip up there, the first part of it didn't go too bad. I got up to my uncle's place in Grants Pass, about 200 miles away from Fortuna, roughly. And we spent the night there, and the next day we took off. But we were so heavy, we couldn't go very fast because we didn't want to, anyway, we were just going slow. And we ended up going slower. But I had too much weight in there. I didn't know how much until I got up to Alaska, and the weigh cop took me in and weighed me and made me get a breakaway switch. I'd never heard of one of those. But anyway, I had 7,000 pounds of goods in that single axle trailer. And it seemed like we just blew one tire. I blew a tire, and by the time that you knew you had a flat, the tire was ruined because there was so much weight. So, and they were most of them were on the right side, where most of the weight goes that way because the road kind of tilts most of it. And we blew a tire, and well, I needed to get another spare, and so we went on up, and I forget the name of the town there in Oregon, but anyway, we went in there and found a tire place, and I bought 2 brand new tires. I thought, well, that should get us up there. Well, we went along, and we got up into Oregon. We got right into Portland on 101. And we were right in there, what they call the Terwilliger curves, during rush hour. By that time, we were only doing 35, 40 miles an hour on the freeway. And it was a pain. We're in the way. And somebody's pointing at me and telling, And then I realized, and I didn't even know it, I had a flat tire again. So here we are in the Terwilliger Curves during rush hour traffic. My brother and I backed up to these stickery bushes trying to change that tire. Well, then we got into Washington, and I found a fairly heavy-duty tire and at a used place, and was lucky it was still open. It was halfway between Woodland, and I can't even think of the little burg now. I ended up being there around there a lot because I ended up living there and working there for 7 years. But anyway, we bought a tire there because we blew that tire there in Portland. And then we putted on up the road, and we got somewhere up towards Seattle, and we ended up pulling into a camping place. I think it was a Koa campground. Pulled in there for the rest of the night and took off the next day, and we got up into Canada a ways, and the motor started missing, and we was having a hard time, and it finally just plain quit. Head gasket went out. And so the next morning when it was daylight, we saw up the road there was a great big wide area where they had piles of gravel, and and it was the Fraser River Canyon, basically. I think it was called the Fraser River. And we pulled over there for a day or two, and my brother headed to town while I started taking the heads off of the motor. And he went and got the parts that we needed and came back, went and got some head gaskets. And by that time, I pretty much had it apart. But anyway, we were there a day and a half or so. Anyway, they went and got a motel for the night because my sister-in-law has to have a restroom. She didn't like going out in the brush. So they went and got a place. We all got showers and got cleaned up. But anyway, the next day we finally got it running. And we got a picture of us with our wrenches, It took us a little bit to get it going. We couldn't get something right anyway. And we no sooner took off, and we got stopped by a cop. And so he took us up and he weighed us. Now we weighed enough that we needed a breakaway switch. So then I had to go buy a battery and a breakaway switch and put all that stuff on there before I could go again. By this time we're running out of time. I'm supposed to be up to catch the ferry in Prince George there in British Columbia to go on up to Ketchikan. Anyway, we putted along, and then we got about halfway over to Prince George. We stayed at another Koa campground up there, and my brother's U-joint went out of his car. So we got pictures of us fixing the U-joint in his car in a store parking lot. And then we headed out again, and we got part way up there, and we pulled into a great big wide area again and spent the night there. And anyway, the next day we were able to manage to get all the way to Prince George the night before we were supposed to leave the next morning. Oh, what a relief. We knew we had it made then because all we had to do was be able to get on to the ferry and then make it from the ferry over there. Then we switched ferries, and I guess we stayed on. No, I guess we went straight up to the island. We didn't go to Prince George first. And or maybe we did, but anyway, we didn't get off. And we got to the island and got there, and finally got there and got settled. Now, why did I tell you that story? I told you that story because, you want things really bad, and sometimes you do too much. You try you try it, you know, and then you just cause problems. With me, I tried to haul too much. All it did was cause problems and problems and problems. Plus that, I wasn't well equipped. I had a sick motor in my truck. So anyway, it's the same way when you go into a business. Yeah, I remember when I first got started, I tried a couple of different ones of these online marketing things, and they may have been okay. I don't know, but I just got totally confused, and you know, and it was not user friendly like the Super Affiliate Network. Anyway, so we got up there anyway to make the business. But you know, when you're in business, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You can't overload. You know, I overloaded in weight, but you can also overload in a workload mentally. You know, and that's where I have been a lot. You know, it's been a stress and a strain because I don't understand it and I want to move ahead, and you know, I get frustrated. I'm having to learn to be patient. You know, I'm still working on this traffic thing, but I'm procrastinating on it because it's tech. Tech. Oh, me and tech do not get along. But anyway, folks, regardless of all of that tech and the headaches and the knowledge of where I'm headed and where I will be in a few months is enough, more than enough, to offset it. I've never been sorry, never will be. I don't care how many headaches I get from tech. I'll get through them. That's all there is to it, because there's profit to be had. And I just like to invite you once again, check it out, and try it. It's just too good not to. I consider myself finding this at the right time and the right place in my life where I was ready for it. Are you ready for a change? I was, and I still am, and I'm seeing it happen. Bye for now, folks. See you tomorrow.